All right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with.
My proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions, respectfully brings to you the 62nd episode of the Foretales podcast. I am your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the Orchid author of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quick, and we are your two award-winning blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Ages of Geekdom network via Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and review this podcast and all our shows, because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. Brother Danny Quick, welcome back. How you doing?
What's happening? I'm sure my face was all blank while you were doing that. I was typing up what we just talked about in the chat. I have a terrible presence of mind. Like, I'm listening, I'm hearing, and I was like, yo, he said orchid. That was dope. But yeah. I was trying to type at the same time, so my brain was with you, but half of my brain was here. So hey,
that's about every show. Your brain is halfway here and halfway somewhere else. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry, but I'll be trying to wear many hats at the same time. So but how you been doing, brother?
I'm all right. I missed you last week. I mean, you weren't here. We had Morgan, and Whitney apparently was with Morgan.
Special guest Whitney.
Yep. So I'm glad to have a show that's gonna be a little bit more tame, I'm assuming.
Hey, listen, I think our guest this week we'll try to keep it nice and tame for us. There should be no reason to bring out weapons or anything like that this week. Greg Anderson and Lise last week, he and Morgan got some history. We'll just say so. They always are going back and forth. So, but that was a fun episode, and I'm sorry I missed it. But
apparently, it wasn't because of Greg and Morgan. It was because of you and
Morgan. Because of
your interruptions.
No, it's because of you, sir. Listen. I did not tell Kyron to interrupt Morgan's every question. Okay, for some reason, Kyron thought it would be funny to bring my interrupt. I pre-recorded some videos
that you labeled interruption number 1 and 2.
Yes, but I didn't.
Which means to interrupt the person.
But I didn't.
I wasn't going to interrupt it. I was not going to interrupt our guest, and I'm definitely not going to interrupt myself. So I left just Morgan to interrupt. So what are we talking about here?
Hey, see, that's why we got to communicate better. That's why we got to communicate.
Exactly.
But it was great.
Interruptions? No, I don't. Damn it.
That was a great episode, man. They had fun, and I'm sorry I missed it, but I had a good time at the signing last week too. So it was good.
All right. Now I know we don't usually talk about behind the scenes stuff here on our show / podcast, but I do have something I wanted to bring up with you. As a lot of you guys know that don't listen to us live, you listen to our podcast. Our podcast is available on most streaming networks, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all those good things. And with doing that, our podcast is broadcast around the world. Like, we have listeners in India, the Netherlands, Iraq, New Zealand, and of course, the United States is our biggest audience. But do you want to know who our second biggest audience is that listens to our podcast?
I would guess Thailand.
Actually, I don't. Thailand is not. It is 1, 2, 3, 11th.
Oh man.
Do you want to take one more guess, or
Canada? No,
Canada is not even on the top 20.
On the list.
Canada, you don't love us. I see how it is. All right, so our biggest audience, 93% of our listeners come from the United States. Makes sense. I mean, we're American based, and most of our audience. Yeah. Yep. Our second biggest audience at a whopping 4% is from Germany.
Oh, That makes sense.
It does?
Yeah.
How?
German folks love comic books.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a huge comic book market in Germany.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm
All right.
serious.
So I'm gonna plan a trip. We're gonna go to Germany, meet some of our fans there,
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
yeah,
Let's take this thing on the road.
Four Tails podcast, a city near you. Is that what you're saying?
Go right on down to Hohenfeld. I've actually been to Germany went with the military, and it's great, man. Like the food is great. The Autobahn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take your word for it. If I ever do come to the East Coast, though, you and I are gonna have to do an episode live, like
Yeah,
same
absolutely.
room, to see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm trying to set up some some conventions that would invite you out and pay you to come, so we can do some panels and things like that. So
Okay.
if we make it happen, we'll make it happen. It's hard to pay for airfare and travel and hotels for people. I don't quite have that influence yet, but we're gonna get there.
I mean, especially with you on the East Coast, me on the West Coast. I know that's expensive. I do say though, if we do this, maybe you can bring our guests along with us because he's on the West Coast with me. Maybe he can tag along. Okay.
Absolutely.
I'd
love to do that.
All right. Well, let's bring the guest on. He's been waiting in the background for enough time. We've rambled off probably too long, honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
But he is a writer, an artist, a father, apparently, a great guy, a husband, an influential man in the community. I'm sure he is the one, the only Don. I was trying to think of something cool to go with Don. I can't off the top of my head, but Don Walker, how you doing, sir?
Good, guys. I'm
Don,
good. Thanks for having me on.
Don Barbarian Walker in the building.
See, it didn't rhyme with Don though. Don Barbarian didn't flow well.
Don Juan. Well, I'm sure people call you.
I go by Don, the Don Walker on my books. I sign my books the Don, so there's always that.
The Don, yeah.
Okay.
For later, for next time.
That one.
Okay. There's another person who signs his stuff the Don, but we won't talk about him right now.
Whoa. Wow.
We won't compare you two. We won't compare you two today. You're in different industry. You're in different industry, so
okay.
But thank you for coming. I'm happy that you got up early this morning. I know you're a California native, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Southern California, born and raised.
Love it.
Best place to be.
How about them Lakers? To be.
Hey, Lakers are looking pretty good right now. I know it's only been like 2 games since the trade deadline, but things are looking up, and that's all I can ask for as a Laker fan. Just looking up.
I'll take it. I'll take that every day. Absolutely.
Oh, God.
Absolutely.
Both of y'all Laker fans, this is going to be a horrible show. I can already tell.
That's right. I mean, your Kings are doing great, but us Laker fans, we gotta be hopeful. So
gotta represent.
For those in the audience who haven't seen your amazing work before, Don, give us a quick backstory on you, and introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, thank you again for having me on. I am Don, the Don Walker, and I am the self-publisher, Dork Empire Inc., and I publish the books Agent Wild, Reaper Corps, and now Dreadlock the Barbarian. And I've been writing and penciling books for, 30 plus years, off and on. Like, it's been a while. But again, I do mostly sci-fi, action, adventure stories. I'm a big sci-fi nerd at heart, so.
Okay. Now, Dreadlock is your newest book that's coming out. So, for anyone that's not familiar with what the premise of the story is, can you give us a brief synopsis of it and tell us about the book?
Okay, so Dreadlock, I call Dreadlock a cyberpunk western. So I do a shared universe of characters. My Agent Wild book is set in the modern day. Reaper Corps and Dreadlock are set in a future of the same universe. So Reaper Corps and Dreadlock are in the same space time frame in general location. Is a crew, I call them, that roam the new west, I call it, which is this desolate desert landscape of a broken earth. And him and his crew do acts of good, little acts of bad, get a little trouble, a little adventure. So they're kind of like I don't know, kind of the Guardians of the Galaxy type of team, but like Earth based. They're out there doing good, but by doing good, they get in trouble with other people, and so they have fans and they have enemies, and they're out there trying to live their lives, have fun, and get into trouble.
I love it, man. It's great to bring the fun back to comics, to have just comics that are fun to look at and fun to read and great art and fun stories and I love it, man. I love it, Don.
If you use the term "make comics fun" again, I'm gonna leave this. I'm just saying.
That's my tagline for my poetry company. Dark Empire Inc. Making comics fun again.
Oh, God.
You can't be so heavy all the time, man. Like, I'm pushing 50. I'll be 50 next month. Nice. And like my heyday is like the 80s, early 90s, where while you had some social issues in your books, they were still fun.
Yeah.
Right.
A little more subtle back then.
Way more subtle. But again, I think they're just better written. So like they could do the messaging without just punch you in the face with it constantly. Like now it's just too blunt force trauma with some books. Even the really good ones, it just seems like they're not as fun anymore. I read more indie books now because Marvel and DC just aren't fun. Like I just can't. I love them. I'm born and raised Marvel zombie from the early days, but like now it's just like, I can't do it anymore.
Well, that brings us to our next question. What comics are you reading now? I know me and Kyron, we want to talk every week about what comics we're reading. I know we both read a lot of indie comic books. But what comic books are you reading right now?
Let's see. What do I have over here?
You just put them on the
Infernal
spot.
Girl Red. Well, no, it's cool. Like I have some books right here, actually. So Infernal Girl Red by Image. 3 Keys, also Image. Chroma, which is a European book brought over here by Skybound.
Okay.
Those are 3 off the top of my head.
Nice.
And the occasional. What's one? The Last Barbarian. I just got this a couple days ago.
All right.
Okay.
That's Brian Haberlin's new book. His art's just ridiculously cool, and I can't help but like read everything he does. But yeah, I haven't read a Marvel book regularly in like for DC in like probably 10 years.
Oh wow,
man, there's some good
Sylvesterine
stuff
Deadly Duo is pretty good though.
Okay.
Are you guys seeing that book?
I've seen it. I haven't picked it up though.
I hadn't picked it up. I hadn't picked it up yet. I do a lot of
Sylvesterine artwork. It's worth buying to look at.
right.
We have a message here that says you should be reading Ace Blade and Saw, Don. I mean,
our audience always advocates for us, and I appreciate
that. Yeah,
I appreciate that. Oh, speaking of, I have some artwork. I have a new cover art for Saw #1 that I don't know if anybody's ever seen that I want to show. No, you don't want me to show it?
I don't know what you're talking about at this point, so I guess go ahead.
I'm talking about you showed me some artwork last night that you haven't put out yet. I'm gonna reveal it right here on the show. No, I wouldn't do that to you, Kyra.
Is it the Don Walker artwork? Is that what we're doing?
Hey, that's what we need to do. We both need to get a Don Walker cover. for our comic books. We definitely need to do that for sure because your art is amazing.
Hey,
But before we move on,
thanks.
Kyron, what books are you reading right now?
Actually, the last book I read was Black Panther, issue 13 and 12. The infamous Captain America fight that everybody was tripping over for a day and then totally forgot. And I read that, and y'all, if you read the story, y'all are tripping for no reason. I'm just saying.
Y'all, no, not y'all. They were tripping.
I'm just saying. Y'all were just going off of one segment of a fight and then just no.
I heard something interesting about that storyline, and I think that is what they're doing. I think John Ridley was breaking T'Challa down. He's one of the few Marvel superheroes that hasn't been a villain yet. You know, all of these heroes, Captain America, even, you know, all of these villains, Wolverine, all of these heroes have been villains at one point. You know, even, you know, Superman, you know, all the way up to Superman in DC. And I think they're about to give T'Challa his villain season. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did. The villain season. Yes, I saw. But they are doing that. Actually, he is no longer the king of Wakanda in the storyline, and he's now going to become a vigilante, still protecting Wakanda, but under his own, you know, Batman-esque ways. So they're turning him a little bit of villain in that regard. So I mean, I think it's a good storyline. Y'all, like I said, y'all are going overboard for something. One small smeg. Never mind. You got me twisted on. We're supposed to be talking about Don and his stuff. All right, fine. Danny, since we all talk about what we're reading, what are you reading this week? And it better be Agent Wild or
I got. Oh, let me see. I got,
which I have Agent Wild. I read it. I actually enjoyed it very much. So
I got Static, Shadows of Dakota. I'm reading. I picked up this Yoda #1. I'm gonna read that this week.
Maverick #1. Okay.
And I finally got the Photon. I've been looking for this. And
my daughter's reading that. Yeah.
I finally got one, so I'm gonna see if it's any good. But I definitely got that Brian Stelfreeze cover in the box over there.
Future guests on the show, Brian Stelfreeze.
That's right, future guests on the show. We're gonna make
that'd be nice.
We go.
Right.
He's an awesome guy.
He is. I'm gonna ask him if he'll come on for sure.
Right.
But yeah, Don, go ahead, Kai.
Well, I was gonna ask you, Don, because you're saying you've been making comics for 30-something years now. You've been reading comics since the 80s. What keeps you going to keep creating comics then?
I'm a storyteller at heart. I also went to film school, so I have a filmmaking background for a little while. That's, again, off and on. I have time and money to be involved in those. So I would tell stories regardless. But if I didn't either make a movie or a short or a comic, I'd probably write some short prose fiction or something. Comics is just the most fun medium for me to do it.
Yeah.
Like there's very, very little budget constraints on what you can do on the page as opposed to a film or, you know, something more visual. So I fell in love with comics as a 5-year-old. I saw Star Wars Episode 4 with my dad at a drive-in. I was 5 years old. I immediately started buying they started buying me the Marvel comics. And from Star Wars comics led to Spider-Man comics, which led to X-Men comics, which led to Fantastic Four, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I didn't buy a DC book until I was probably 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
I was all Marvel all the time. Like, that was my jam, right? I started drawing sequential art or focusing on sequential art at around 14, 15 years old. Like, my dad was an artist, like fine artist, so I'd always draw and sketch and do all that and draw my Star Wars characters and whatnot. But then comics led me to drawing Spider-Man all over the walls and on whatever paper I can get my hands on. But when I discovered, like, oh, people do this for a living, that looks cool. I started studying that, like with the Marvel, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way book.
The
that came out in
essential.
'77. Like, essential book for drawing comics.
Yeah.
I tell everyone, I actually buy those in bulk, and I give them to people who want to make comics, who I meet either at cons or at or locally. Like, you need this here. I'm giving this to you.
It's amazing how a book that came out like almost 50 years ago is still such an influential thing on artists and can still be so useful in so many ways.
I like that.
No matter what, if you're doing, like, I'm all analog, I just pencils and paper. But if you're doing digital comics, everything that book tells you is legit information you need to know.
Exactly.
Particularly the storytelling, dynamic storytelling section of the book, which I tell people all the time. If you read anything in this book, and you want to, excuse me, take it to heart, is that one. You can learn anatomy from everywhere. You can learn perspective from anywhere, but the dynamic storytelling is legit info that works with any genre of story, right?
Yeah.
You can tell a cool story any genre, artistically. And again, that's also something missing in a lot of comics today is dynamic storytelling.
Yeah.
Okay. I heard speaking on comics back in the day and in your journey into illustrating pages, I heard a story that you told about I can't remember the exact comic, but I want to say it was Deadpool and Daredevil, a one shot that you had gotten pages for, and you and I heard you say you were drawing, you were on like page 3 of the story, and you backed away from the table and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Tell us about why you decided to stop pursuing mainstream work in the comics for that time.
So in 1999, I went to Comic-Con in San Diego, and mind you, 1999 was my 13th straight trip to Comic-Con. This is like what 85 or whatever it was to 1999, and I was constantly trying to get work. Right, even when I wasn't ready, like a lot of artists, I was just bringing a portfolio show and getting rejected, which is fine. Like I'm real good about rejection. I can take criticism. That's never been a problem for me. But I finally kind of broke in and got a editor to give me a tryout script, and it was the Deadpool one shot with Ed McGuinness had illustrated,
and it was already out, right,
at home. So I got the script. I'm like, crap! I have this book at home, so I have to draw this better than Ed McGuinness. Wah wah wah! Right?
Good luck.
Right? Exactly. And I knew I had a different style than him, but still, it's hard to do something when you know what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
By somebody else.
Yeah.
Now on top of this script, I had worked in a comic book store as an assistant manager for 2 straight years, right? So I'm eating, breathing comics 24/7 for the last 2 years. But I get home, I'm working on the pages, and like page 3, I'm just like, I'm not enjoying it. I'm not being down what I want or what I feel they're going to like, and I would have called it dread came on me, but it kind of like all of a sudden I remember sitting at my drawing table in my living room going, I don't care anymore. I'm burned out between working in a comic store 4 days a week. I had a 4-day a week, 10-hour days, and it was just like going home, working on comics, and kind of beating your head against that wall for so long just was enough. I was like, I'm done. I pushed my chair away from the table. I got up and just like sat on my couch and put a movie on. I don't know what it was on. I just sat there and just kind of like breathed for a second, like, now what? I put so much energy in wanting to draw comics. Like like every other young guy, I was like, I wanted to like draw X-Men or Spider-Man. And when Image debuted, I was like, oh shit, I want to work for Image. I want to go do stuff for them. Like they're the new big, cool thing, And like another short story. That same 99 convention, I have a portfolio. I have Cyberforce pencils that I did, right? I included Cyberforce and some Wildcats, and like a 6-page portfolio, just some stuff I made up, right, to put all these characters together, so I could hit both studios, right? And I had happened to show the portfolio to some of the artists that worked at Extreme Studios, which I hadn't planned on it, but like they're doing a portfolio review. I stopped by, showed them my stuff. The guys at the portfolio
who
review
you showed it
loved
to?
my stuff. Oh gosh, I was an Asian guy, which I know doesn't help hardly at all.
Well, there was Andy Park. There was. It's okay.
I think he's one of the artists of like one of the Youngblood spinoffs, or Blood Striker or something like that. I'm not sure if they're the same guy or not, but like, dude loved my stuff. He's like, oh, it's awesome. And I always come prepared with photocopies. Like my packages full of photocopies that are labeled with my name and address and number and everything. And so I gave the dude one, and he's like, cool, I'm gonna show this to Rob. All right. And so like the second or third day of the show, I'm walking through our Alley, whatever it is again, or the Publisher Row, whatever, and the same guy sees me, points me out, and says, Rob, that's the dude. Come look at his stuff. So I'm like, cool. Like, all right. So I go, Rob Liefel's at his table, right? The Extreme table. Throngs of children, like 8 and 10-year-olds, like in mass, just like bowing down to Rob Liefeld. And so I get up there, open portfolio, and Rob starts looking at my work. And he generally likes my work, which is cool. And the Cyberforce Speedster, can't remember her name all of a sudden, but she's like the main character in my portfolio. And I had drawn her too lean, and Rob thought I made her look a little older than she should be. Now here's the thing. I will never forget this in my entire life. So Rob's looking at my stuff, and he goes to the speedster character. He starts critiquing her, and he looks at me like dead in my eyes. He goes, you want to draw your women so hot that the fans want to F them. And he used the whole F word with all these children behind me. And I was just standing there like, looking around like, did he just say that out loud to these little kids?
That tracks.
I was like,
that tracks.
I'm like, okay, Rob, thanks, man. Like, and he's like, I'll fix these things and then bring them back tomorrow. So after being kind of shell shocked for a second, to my portfolio, left the stream table, kept about my business. But later that night, I went and like fixed those things, photocopied them again at the show, put together a new package. Next day, Rob wasn't there. I gave it to the same guy who saw me the first time, and then never heard from them ever again. But I had that Rob Liefeld story to remind me how odd that guy is. So, I mean, even if you want me to draw people super hot, I get it. It's comics. It's Image. But, like, that just... And he was aggressive, like, oh, you want to draw them so hot they want to bleep them. I'm like, right.
That sounds about right. And how long after that did you create Agent Wild?
Okay, so the Agent Wild, the version I self-published, is a reimagining of a character I called Wild back in the late 80s. I did an anthology with a friend I met via used to be a comic book newspaper I don't know, it's called Comics Interview or something else like that. But it was like a newspaper you get in the mail. It's all about.
Okay.
Peter David had an article called "I Digress" in this newspaper, and I met someone through the classifieds who wanted to team up and do a book, and so I did a couple issues of an anthology called Profolio with this guy, and I did a 22-page short story in one of his anthologies called Wild, and she was like a Daredevil like anti-hero character, like street level hero.
Okay.
And so I brushed her off in the 2000s when a buddy of mine wanted to do a book. We're gonna do like a flip book. I'd do my character on one side, he'll do his character on the other side of the flip book, and it's supposed to be like a 10-page short story. And I didn't have any characters, and I was like, you know what? I'll dust her off real quick and reimagine her for the 2000s. And I added all the sci-fi elements, made her more powerful, and gave her the energy blades and whatnot. And my buddy, who's notoriously slow or a slacker, never got his 10-page story done. And published her after kickstarting it twice, actually. First Kickstarter failed, redid it, reimagined the Kickstarter, and then the second one was successful. That was 2016 or so.
Wow.
And
Okay.
yeah, it was something fun to do. Hadn't done anything in a while. And I was like, why not?
Nice.
Okay.
So with the funding, or sorry, with the first Kickstarter not funding, what did you learn from that made the second one fun? Like, did you...
So the original concept for the Agent Wild book was called 12th Hour. And 12th Hour in the book is a organization of superpowered assassins, basically. And I was planning on doing 12th Hour as a series of books with different characters in each book. Agent Wild would be the first character. 12th Hour issue 2 would be a different character, so forth and so on. But I found the first Kickstarter was confusing. Understand the 12th Hour concept? Was the 12th Hour a different concept? Was Agent Wild the same concept? And it just seemed convoluted for people. I got feedback from people, and that's kind of what they said. Like, this is too much going on. Like, make it more simple. And that's what I did. So reading the book Agent Wild, the 12th Hour organization still exists, but it's far more about Agent Wild than it is the organization. And my goal was too high. Like original goal was like, I was paying everybody decent rates for the time, including myself. And so it was like an $8,000 goal. Was ridiculous considering I've never done Kickstarter before. You know, didn't know who I was. So that's a huge ask for nobody. So when it failed, I got my guys together, our team, or my anchor and letter and color. I said, look, if you guys can like give me a better rate or do it for free. I know all these guys who work with me. I've been friends with them for years. I go, I would give you guys a shit ton. I gave everyone who chipped in for free 300 comps the book.
Wow.
So like if they sold them all at cover price, they would have gotten real close to their rate. So like my anchor, he sold all his out. His whole 300 copies were gone like a year after I got them to him. So I've given him more books just for him being cool and doing it for free. And that allowed us to get books, which made us fun super easy. So I don't ask that of anybody nowadays. Now I don't pay myself anything for Kickstarter. I will take none of the money. It will only be for rewards, my anchor, letter, colors, and printing the book. Because it's my IP. I get most of the copies anyway. So I can just make my money on the back end, selling them at shows or online.
Yeah. that's like Morgan just said. That's a nice deal making. Sometimes you gotta, sometimes you gotta give a little to get a little, and being able to
Exactly.
get those comic books to those people. I recently have done some variant covers, kind of on that same deal. I couldn't afford to pay the artist at the time, but I was like, listen, I can get you some copies and I can promote it for you, and I know I got a decent online platform, so and I know I usually try to get artists who are going to shows anyway, who are because all artists don't they don't do conventions, big or small. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a solid deal.
And if you want to pick
Even
up one
now,
of
though,
Danny's books, you can do it right there at that QR code, and you can get one of the ones I did. I'm just saying.
Where's my phone so I can get this QR code? Hold on. Let me get. I gotta have one.
Just say, you can get one that I did.
Terrible.
All right, sorry. I interrupted you, John. I'm sorry.
well, I was just gonna say, like, even when I pay page rates to people, I still give out at least 20, 25 copies to everybody who works on so individually. So anchor, letter, colors, they still get like 20, 25 copies of the books, just as, again, thank you for working with me. Because I have 3 inkers that I love. They all give me a little different vibe visually. So I pick and choose which one I need to use for whatever book I'm doing. But and Silas Dixon is the new guy I'm working with on
I was just about to ask you
Dreadlock.
about Silas. Silas did the second half of Ace Blade #2. My second Ace Blade
Okay.
book. He inked. I had a inker here in North Carolina. He couldn't finish the book, and he suggested Silas to finish Ace Blade. So that was pretty. I was surprised to see that we share our inker in our
Oh
our
yeah.
journey.
Silas is the man, dude. Like, Silas is one of those guys that he's closer to our age, and so he's got a little bit uh he's into like the masters of the craft, right, from like back in the day. Silas is one of those guys that Silas will constantly go find super talented, like, working for Marvel and DC inkers, and nitpick and like get information. Like, he's always trying to learn, always trying to get better. I'm doing the same thing. Like, I'm always trying to get better. And like, Silas loves dreadlocks almost as much as I do.
I love
Like,
it.
that dude is down for some dreadlocks. So I'm like, he's been a blast to work with. And when I eventually do a mini series for Dreadlock, Silas is my guy, 100%.
I love it.
Apparently, Silas is doing Cosmos too, which
that's got to be that's got to be
Advent.
Tony.
Advent Comics.
Yeah,
it's Advent.
Tony Cottrell. Yeah.
Cottrell. All right.
Yeah, that's dope.
Silas, we teamed up on a cover for one of the next books too. Actually, I think
all over the place.
Cosmos 7 or 8. Oh yeah, he's always looking for work. So.
Oh, you said are you doing a cover for Cosmos 8, or are you saying Silas was?
Yeah, we did a Cosmos cover. I believe it's issue 8.
Oh wow.
Tony. Well, Silas told Tony about me. It's like, you should hire Don for some covers or something. And like, so Tony hit me up and was like, yeah, let's do a cover. All right, cool. We knocked that out like last month. It's really fun. Tony's cool because Tony likes that 80s style of stuff also. So I had to do a cover with like 7 characters. There's so much stuff going on, and in a true kind of like almost Kirby-esque kind of like design. That was fun to do.
That's wild, because I think Cosmos 8 is the one that Ace Blade shows up in, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Why is Ace Blade showing up everywhere?
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Just
I mean, I got like 4 books with different characters y'all can have in any of your comics if you want to get appearances.
I'm trying to get Ace Blade in Saw 4. That's what I'm trying to make happen. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay. An Ace Blade character does actually show up in Saw 4.
Is it Club Bat. Not Club Bat.
Morgan said Jax can appear in anybody's book. I'm gonna say Jax type character appears in Saw 4. I'll just put that out there right now. And Watson, if you're watching in Clapper and Hot Shot and a 5-star type character does appear in Saw number 4.
Terrible. I'm going to go ahead and get my lawyers ready.
Brad Arney says he wants a list of Ace Blade appearances. Just every book, Brad, Ace Blade is going to appear.
Me too. I got to keep track of them. Ace Blade is showing up in a bunch of people's books at this point. So,
all right.
I love it.
Well, I think this is the best
time. I got
to
draw some Zob, the Lightning Wielder.
Yeah.
You are on my short list, Don. You really are. So don't worry. You're on that list for sure. I just got to get. I got to get paid for my work that I've done from other people first.
Guilty. I'm one of those people. I still owe Kyron money. Let me send you books instead, like Don did. Let me send you some books instead. we would have had to agree to that before. You say we had to agree to that.
Yeah, you'd have to agree that before. Morgan said Ace Blade is like the toasty guy in Mortal Kombat, just popping up randomly. Okay. All right, the show has gone off the deep end now, so I think this is a good time for us to do some quick takes. If you're ready,
I am. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right.
Quick takes. So, if you have not seen the show before, quick takes is the section of the show where we give you a rapid fire Q&A of 5 questions, and you have to answer them off the top of your head. We used to have a timer that was 45 seconds, but now we just let you go however long you want to go. But still quick, either way. So, gotcha. Question number 1. I know that you are a Lakers fan, just like I am. So what can the Lakers do this year to win a championship? What do they got to do to win a championship this year?
Pray.
You need more than that.
I mean, they have to win like 15 to 16 of their last 23 games, and even then, a play-in tournament bid. They're just too far behind. Like, I don't see all the teams in front of them going on losing streaks. It'd be nice if they do. I'd be all for it. But we get a 6 seed, great. But I'll take the play-in tournament. This team looks good enough to play a play-in game and kick somebody's butt and get into the dance. So
I'm down with it. I'm hopeful. We'll see if people's health holds up. And
that's the key. If AD and LeBron hold up, we got a shot.
They ain't gonna our new point guard twisted his ankle the other day. Like,
if your hopes reside all on AD staying healthy, you in trouble. That's all I'm saying.
No, exactly. We are. Yeah. That's what I'm praying for. Praying for health for AD. Dear Galactus, right. Please.
He said Dear Galactus.
Dear Galactus.
My Lord and Savior Galactus, please, sir, help me.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Okay.
Please, Eternity. Give AD some good knees.
Please, Eternity. Somebody, anybody.
Heal that body. Heal that body.
Chaos, Lord Chaos.
Lay your hands on him.
Terrible. Okay. Question number 2. In a fight between Agent Wild and Dreadlock and Barbarian, who would win and why?
Agent Wild because she actually has I want to call it superpowers, but she has the ability that's genetic to create energy blades from her body. Her suit enhances that ability and focuses that ability. Dreadlock is bigger, stronger. Agent Wild is faster and has weapons. Like, she can deflect or shield herself from energy weapons like blasters or whatnot. Dreadlock's swords would not touch her, and so she would just carve him up in a matter of seconds.
Awesome. So
and she's a trained and she is literally designed genetically to be a weapon. Dreadlock is not.
And this isn't one of the quick takes, but just on Agent Wild and Dreadlock, I believe I heard you say before that they're in the same universe. Is that right?
Yes, but they're in different eras. So Agent Wild's in the modern day, Dreadlock's in the future of the same era, same universe rather.
I got you. Go ahead, Kyron. I see you. Go ahead.
All right. Well, what the hell is going on in my comments? How you gonna talk about Clippers? Kings got lucky last night. We took your best shot. Your best shot. PG out there hitting threes with like 3 people on him. Westbrook probably playing the best game he played all year. We scored 153 points in regulation at your house.
They beat them at home. That's the worst part about it. They beat them at home
in LA. Come on.
Clips lit the beam. They could probably see the beam from Sacramento. So
man, in your house, we came in there, said this is our dub, and we left.
All right. Back to quick take.
But is it their house really, or is it the Lakers' house?
Exactly. Thank you. We went into the Lakers' house.
They got a house. That's our house.
The dub.
They're just written.
Talk about Clips Nation.
That's terrible. Clipper fan.
You went your Airbnb, took the dub.
Yo, I almost feel bad for the Clippers, man. But hey, that's how it is. Living in Big Brother's shadow.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Back to quick takes. We done had two interruptions already. All right.
Sorry, I don't usually look at the comments during quick takes because dang.
Terrible. Okay. Question number 3. And this is a question that I ask a lot of creators who are on the convention scene. Do you prefer big conventions or small shows? And why?
I prefer small shows that are comic focused.
That's very important.
You'll never see me table. You won't see me table at San Diego Comic-Con. It's just too big. It's too big. It's not a comic book show anymore. Comics are an afterthought. So I will do, and I can do like 5 or 6 shows that are smaller for the price of doing Comic-Con. So and make more money doing it. But yeah, focus shows on comics. Those are the shows I want to do. Shows like Comic-Con Revolution in Ontario, California, which is in May. I do really good at that show. It's a 2-day show in Ontario, California. It's like a weird place to do a show, it seems like, but they're there to buy stuff. They're there to buy indie books. LA Comic-Con is another one. I do great at LA Comic-Con every year. WonderCon, which is also done by the San Diego people, I don't do good there, even though Anaheim and LA are like right next to each other. I don't do any kind of money at WonderCon. So I stopped doing it like 2 or 3 years ago. Before COVID, I stopped doing it. And that's next month in March. I'm skipping that one.
How was the Black Comics Day?
That was amazing. That was my second time doing that show. Done the last 2 in a row. And Keithan Jones and the Rolby Center put on an amazing show. It's super fun. It's super relaxed. And again, the fans come in there and they are there to buy. Yeah. If someone stops at my table, like 9% of the time, I'm gonna sell them something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great show, and I hope they continue, and hope they get bigger and better. And it's a great show. Kieran, you should do that one.
Yeah, I actually reached out to Keithan a couple days ago and told him I want to be a part of it next year. So he said October is the sign-up date, and I'm gonna be out looking for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, and Kitchell, just a reminder, because you said I want the smoke. That's what you get for not scheduling me. As a reminder, Kitchell, you were supposed to be on the show October 8th. We had you scheduled, and you didn't show. So what's happening there, buddy?
Don't get on Tony's bad side. Don't get on Tony's bad side. Listen, I don't want your Clippers Kings hate to spill over to our loving, adoring audience.
I'm just saying,
we're gonna get.
We had you scheduled and you didn't appear.
We're gonna get Tony back on the show. We're gonna get Tony back on the show as soon as possible.
All love, Tony. You're more than welcome to come on again.
Absolutely.
And enjoy our playoff run. So go ahead. All right.
Terrible.
Wait. That's Kevin Chapman. That's Kevin Chapman now.
That's what I thought. When I saw the attitude start coming out, I knew it was Kevin. Terrible.
Kevin, you're more than welcome on the show too. All right, question 4.
The slander.
I blame Restream for not showing people's names when I don't know why. Like it'll show some people's names and not others.
Morgan's right. He done rubbed his energy and rubbed off on you from last week. You out here. I'm glad you don't got.
Hold on one second. I got to get my Whitney. Hold on.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask question number 4. Don. Okay.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a hard question, but I believe in you. I know you can answer it. All right. The situation is you have to sacrifice one of your intellectual properties in order for the other ones to succeed. You got Dreadlock, you got Reaper Core, you got Agent Wild. Which one are you sacrificing for the others to succeed?
Probably Agent Wild.
Iverson.
Agent Wild. Probably, yeah. It'd be hard, obviously, to give any of them up, but I don't know. So, like, Dreadlock's the newest thing, so I love that one the most because it's the newest thing.
Right.
Ask me this question 6 months from now, it might be different. So I have another idea we're working on. That would be the new favorite thing, but because Dreadlock and Reaper Core are kind of spin-off. Well, Reaper Core or Dreadlock is a quasi spin-off of Reaper Core. So keeping those two, I get the benefits of both of them being able to interact with one another, possibly, whether that be a cartoon or a film or whatever. If I give one of those up, then I kind of lose half the story, if you will, right? Because Dreadlock, you'll see in a miniseries I'm writing right now, Dreadlock and his crew, or half of his crew, are from this mega city that Reaper Core takes place in. And they're born in that mega city. They were born under the thumb, if you will, of these sentient cyborgs of the Reaper Core. And so their experiences dealing with the Reaper Core led them to leave these mega cities and go out and venture out into the New West to begin with. So I lose all that backstory. I give up Reaper Core. So, Agent Wild, it helps me with other stuff.
With Dreadlock not being released yet, is that a teen spoiler we just got in a way?
A little bit.
We did get a little spoiler there.
Yeah. So you won't get that spoiler in the first issue. Like,
there we go.
You'll read the book, and you realize, yes, they have issues with cyborgs, and maybe, just maybe, when the Reaper Core pops up as a cameo, just maybe, just saying, buy the book, you'll find out.
I like it. Okay. All right. The fifth and final question. So as you all know, we do another show called Top 5 Live.
No, you do another show, not me. You do another show.
I do another show called Top 5 Live, where every week we debate weekly events, and then we do a top 5 list between me and my other two co-hosts. So I'm gonna read a post that I saw on your page, Don, and then I'm gonna ask you a top 5. This post was from a one Crystal Walker. It said, "My sexy, wonderful husband, Don Walker, braved the cold and rain to get me juice and chips. and our daughter from school. So Don, I want to know, what are your top 5 favorite husband duties?
Top 5. And in order of top 5, or just 5 things I enjoy?
Just 5 things the 5 best parts of being a husband and the duties that you have to do.
Okay.
The random stuff that we have to do all the time.
Taking my daughter to school is great. She's 15, and we're like thick as thieves. Her and I, we're a lot alike, and so we just vibe. Whenever we're hanging out together, we just vibe and have a good time. Taking my wife and daughter to the comic shop every Wednesday. I co-founded a group called the Sketchy Bug Group with 3 other dudes. We are a nationwide group of comic creators, some filmmakers, there's some cosplayers in the group. I think, Kieran, you're part of the group, technically, on the Facebook page. So
I post every once in a while.
Yeah, so I helped start that group 10 years ago, and my local comic shop called the Comic Bug, we've been meeting there every Wednesday until COVID shut comic shops down. But we've been meeting there every Wednesday from like 5 to 9, hanging out, creating comics, talking comics. And so my wife and daughter come with me. My wife's a writer of novels, but she enjoys comics as well. My daughter loves comics, thanks to me, of course. And we go hang out and just, have other Sketchy Bug friends, and, it's family time, all built around the love of comics. So that's cool. I don't like running errands, but like I do them because that's my job. Like, I'm the husband, go run some errands, go do this, go that, the honey-do list, all that jazz.
Yep.
But yeah, just a husbandly duty. That's 3. That's 3. The hanky-panky part's pretty awesome.
There we go.
Duty, I guess.
There's number 1. There's number 1. We got
right?
it.
Can't miss that one. Like, come on. And occasionally cooking like that sometimes. I don't cook. I'm not real good at it. But occasionally I get a good recipe or something. I can follow directions.
Yeah.
I'm not an ad-libber though. So like, give me directions, I'm good.
Mm.
But my wife's an awesome cook, so she does most of cooking. So occasionally I'll chip in to save her some time, or she shouldn't have to. But yeah, that's kind of few and far between. So
Yeah. Oh, that was a great top 5. I was perusing your page to get some background on you, and I was like, yo, you get a lot of shout outs from your wife, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's super awesome. That number 1 is obviously I think all husbands will take that one in their top 5.
Right.
Awesome. So I got one beef with y'all before I know we're up against the clock, but I got a beef with y'all too. Okay. So I heard Don, I talk to Kyron all the time, so I know his history with making comics, but I heard Don, that you made this Dreadlock book without a writer, without a plan, without any type of idea. You just or you had an idea and you just started drawing, and then you had to come up with 10 more pages or something like that, and we're like, oh, I'll just come up with it off the top of my head. That's how I heard it anyway. I heard you said, listen, I don't need a writer. I don't need anybody to do this. Nope. I have an idea and I'm gonna make this book. And Kyron did the same thing with his Shaman's Destiny book. So I have a beef with y'all. What's with the hate for writers?
Wait, it's not a beef though.
No.
It's going back to what we talked about, storytelling in your artwork. It's the old Marvel method of creating a story through your artwork, and then the writer just comes in and adds the dialogue on that. That's my thought on it. So
and I've studied writing. It's not like I'm writing because I don't like writers. I've studied writing. I've taken film school classes for writing screenplays. I do that as well. So I can write. It's not rocket science. It's comic books. It's not, I'm not writing legislation. It's comic book.
Very
but
true. Very true.
With Dreadlock, it was the Sketchy Bug group that I'm part of. We did a anthology during the height of COVID, during the shutdown, called Danger Arcade, and my story was Dreadlock, and I had drawn a design for this character, which was really different than originally. He was like tall and slender, the big ass afro, had like headphones and like this big ass sword that was like constructed of like scrap pieces of metal, and he was running around a much more post-apocalyptic landscape. And one of the Sketchy Bug members that I talked to a lot was like, he saw the drawing, goes, "That looks like Afro Samurai." And me not being an anime guy, I was like, "Who is that?" So I had to Google that. I had to Google it. I'm like, "Oh, he does." It really was a fro. It was a fro, huge fro, like 3 feet off his head, right? I'm like, damn, I got to change this up a little bit. So I started scribbling new ideas, and it was in the process of designing him, I got the idea of aligning Dreadlock and his story with the Reaper Corps book that I already published. And so that helped me steer the story to like him being the anti version of Reaper Corps. Like he wanted no part of what they're doing. He was anti-cyborgs and all this other stuff. And so I did this 10-page story, and it was like the whole story. I won't give the story away for the first 10 pages, but like it's kind of a misdirection, kind of fun story. Action packed, but it's kind of a fun hook at the end of it that I won't give away. But I had so much fun drawing this and creating it, and of course writing it. That I thought, you know what? I'm gonna do more of this. And so the way the story ends had the perfect like beginning for more stories, right? And so I'm like, no, I'm gonna add more pages, make it a full issue, right? Figure out add 10 more pages, make 20-page one shot. So I did a Kickstarter for it, and I had a stretch goal, where I'd add like 8 more pages. We reached that stretch goal. So now it's a 28-page story and art, one issue. And really, I could have actually added more pages. Like I had more to tell, but I was like, well, keep it tight as possible, not to spend way more money on this book than I need to for the one issue. And it's Dreadlock the Barbarian zeros. Like I did Agent Wild 0, Reaper Corps 0, and now Dreadlock 0. All my zeros are essentially pilot episodes for those books. If they sell, I'll do more of them. Agent Wild has a mini series I'm working on. I've already put issue 1 out. Working on issue 2. I'll be doing issue 2, Agent Wild, and Dreadlock 1, and then Agent Wild 3, and Dreadlock 2. That's the plan anyway. But just having as much fun with the character as possible. Maybe want to do more. And people love him. Like the Black Comic Creator Day for 2021, not last year's, but the year before, I had a Dreadlock banner made of the cover image, right? And people would walk by and like, "Oh, hell, who's that? That's awesome." I'm like, "Oh, it's my new book I'm working on right now." They're like, "Oh, it's not yet." I'm like, "No." They're like, "Oh," they'd walk away all upset. Like, so this year, people are coming by looking for the banner and going, "Is the book out yet?" I'm like, "I have some copies. Here you go." So luckily, my printer, they have offices in Los Angeles. I can drive over there in like 20 minutes, talk to them if I want. Every time they print something, they get copies to the LA office, and they were cool enough to give me copies that they got that I was able to take to Black Comic Creator Day and actually sell. My actual full print run doesn't come until later this month, supposedly. They said it'll be here by the end of the month of February, so knock on wood. Let's hope that happens. Right. So Kickstarter backers get the books finally.
Nice. Morgan Iverson, how you doing, sir?
What's up, Don? It's nice to talk to you in person, man.
Yeah. How's it going?
Morgan, Danny grew a wave in 10 seconds.
Instant transmission. Okay. Instant transmission. I literally did the Super Saiyan thing. That's how I got here. So
okay.
I came to say, you guys on that racist thing, the writers not needing writers, that's just racist, is what it is. And you guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
All writers matter is what you're trying to tell me?
Of course, all lives matter.
No, I said all writers matter.
Oh, no.
Writers' lives matter.
I just got done listening to Tucker Carlson a minute ago, and all lives matter. Okay? All lives matter. Blue lives matter. Okay?
Writers' lives matter.
Writers' lives matter.
Okay.
And you guys are not Kyron so much, but Don, you're great. And I've enjoyed having you on the show. And, with that being said, we're going to go and wrap up Four Tales for the week. I'm going to take over. And I didn't bring Whitney, so.
Wait, hold on. You're taking over here. Let's do this then.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have anything we need to spoil? Like, we have some pretty big news, actually.
Harlem's coming out.
Yeah.
We got a teaser.
Yeah, we got a preview coming out today. For those who backed Lumberjacks number 3 are going to get. What did you do with Don?
Down there in the corner.
He's down there.
But he's behind the Danny face. I can't even see him now. You're so racist, man.
You said you're taking over the show. I'm trying to give you spotlight so you can do whatever you're about to do.
But you ain't have to do my mayor wrong to let me take over, sir.
Okay.
That's
all right. Fine.
Jesus Christ.
All right. Is this better? Is this better? Okay.
Yes.
You know what? I'm just gonna.
Okay. All right. That's better. All right. Yes. So everybody that backed Lumberjacks number 3, y'all know the incredible travail it has been to get it produced and get everything done. But we made a preview for Harlem number 5. I mean, number 1. Speaking things up.
All right. So, anyways. Don, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
I wish Danny was here so he could also, echo what I'm saying, but it's been a pleasure having you on.
Had a blast. Thank you.
Okay. Wait, hold on there.
Terrible.
But before we go,
I'm going to the car to get Whitney.
All right, let's close. I'm sorry, Don. I don't know what happened to
you. Good, man.
You got hijacked. What happened? Where can we've mentioned a couple times already on the show, but where can people pick up your work, get all your books, things like that?
So you can go to www.dorkempireinc.bigcartel.com. That's where everything is sold. That's all my comics. There's original art there you can pick up, apparel, the whole shebang. And you can see me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram at Don_Space Night for looks all upcoming books and artwork and good stuff.
All right, thank you. And Danny, where can we pick up your work and all your social media?
If you want to pick up our work, the best place to go is fourthwallpros.com. If you want to find me on social media, it's at the Ace Blade on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of them. Kyron, where can people find you?
You can find my work, issues 1 through 3 of Saw Lightning Wielder, all the issues of Shaman's Destiny, issues 1 through 6, Starcore number 1, and Ruby from Planet Oz number 1 at tauruscomics.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at Taurus Comics. And if this is your first time checking out the Four Tales podcast, please go back to our website. It is the number 4 TALES podcast.com. You can listen to all our previous episodes and maybe support us by buying us a coffee, buying some merch, whatnot. Definitely join us though next week because we are going to have a creator from Concrete Comics, a booming force in the industry, a snack goddess, I guess. Chris Thomasma is on the show again. So join us back here next week, Saturday, same time as usual. Okay, I'll be nice. Does Morgan want to come on and finish what he was going to say before I end the show?
No, he's
okay. Good. All right. So until next time, sayonara, goodbye, and please take care of yourselves.
I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.